Let's calculate the mean of a normal distribution. Okay, so normal distribution uses the z-score. And remember, maybe you don't remember, normal distribution means we can use the normal distribution curve, which goes into effect that we need the mean, we need the standard deviation, and to really do anything, we need values, right? So we use the z-score formula, which is the z-score equals the data value minus the mean all over the standard deviation. So sometimes it's easier to remember it if you use words rather than symbols, but it works the same way. So let's play with this. For a normal distribution, we know that z is 1.5, x is 62, and sigma is 4. Find the mean. So this tells us, z being 1.5 tells us that our value is 1.5 standard deviations above the mean. Just FYI. So we have z, 62 is our data value, and sigma is our standard deviation. So we're going to use our z-score formula, z equals x minus mu all over sigma, and then we plug in what we know. So I know that z is 1.5. I know my data value is 62. I do not know my mean, so we're going to subtract mu, and we're going to divide by 4. And now I need to solve this equation. Now we know solving equations, whatever you do to the right side of the equation of the equal sign, you have to do the same thing on the left. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of that fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Because on the right side, the 4's will reduce, cancel out, and I'm just left with 62 minus mu all over 1, which is basically just 62 minus mu. 4 times 1.5 is 6. Okay, so now we want to get mu by itself. So I need to get rid of 62. It's a positive 62, so I'm going to subtract 62 from both sides. And I have negative mu equals negative 56. Well, nobody wants a negative mu, so we divide both sides by negative 1, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the mean is 56, which makes sense because that 62 is 1.5 standard deviations above that. Let's do another one. The standard deviation of test scores is 3.5. You scored a 75, and that was 1.5 standard deviations below the mean. What was the mean of the test? Okay, so let's think back. We know the formula is z equals x minus mu over sigma. Okay, so what are we given? We're given the standard deviation is 3.5. So sigma is 3.5. You scored a 75, so x is 75. And that was 1.5 standard deviations below the mean. So that means my z-score is negative 1.5 because anything below the mean is negative. Okay, so now what was the mean? I don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. So let's plug in what we know. I know negative 1.5 equals 75 minus mean all over 3.5. So again, we're doing the same thing to both sides. So first step, I got to multiply both sides by 3.5. So on the left side, those will cancel out. I'm left with 75 minus mu. And on the left, I've got 3.5 times negative 1.5, which gives me a negative 5.25. So I'm going to subtract 75 from both sides in order to isolate mu. So I have a negative mu, because that minus sign comes down with it. Negative 5.25 minus 75 gives me a negative 80.25. So last step, divide both sides by 1. So mu equals 80.25. Now think about it. You know that you scored a 75 and that was below the mean. So the mean should be greater than that. 80.25? Yes, it is.